So if you've been feeling stuck in your life, in yourself, in love, and in your livelihood, stay tuned because today I'm going to share with you how on my journey I have found the secret sauce to get every area moving in my life all at the same time. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when all my videos and content come live. And in case we haven't met, my name is Dr. Harmony. I'm a transformational teacher and enlightened leader, and I am on a freedompreneur journey of myself, helping others to unlock that inner wisdom, tap into the higher divine self, and embody that. So make sure to like, comment, and share the shine, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, so I know to make more videos that are inspiring in this way. Welcome to my little piece of sanctuary here in Kansas City, Missouri, as I navigate on my Love in Action tour that I talked about. And ultimately what that means is me coming out to the biggest, newest, brightest, boldest, most brilliant version of myself. And I'm taking you on the journey with me and sharing some things with you that I'm learning along the way. And as I mentioned, we're going to be talking today about some of the things that I personally have done in order to move beyond being stuck in my life, stuck in love, stuck in my livelihood. And there's a main premise that I want to talk about today that is what helped me break free from all of the blocks in all of the areas. So really take note of this because this is going to be very powerful. So, as on this twin flame ascension journey, we are being activated, having incidences, experiences that are reflecting who we are to unlock the parts of us that we have not seen yet. And while we're on this journey and we're discovering who we are, we're coming into this timeline now where we really got to let go of the past. And if we don't let go of the past, then we're blocking ourselves from our future. And I've discovered this through the process of, as I mentioned, my own journey, obviously, because I'm on this journey like everyone else is. But I've been in this holding pattern. And in the holding pattern, it's been kind of like letting go of everything around me that no longer fit me, who I'm, my future version, basically. And even my present version. So even like letting go of the things that are in my life that don't even align today, right? And when you go through this process and you're navigating it in a way that every area of your life just created this collapsing tower moment, which I'm sure a lot of you are going through. And if you are, let me know, because every piece of my life just went crumbling all at the same time. Luckily, I knew what that meant. I knew it meant it didn't align with me anymore. But it did not really change the fact that I'm human. And it did not really change the fact that we have emotions and we have a sense of feeling and desire to be moving forward in some direction that gives us a sense of purpose and fulfillment and with passion and joy, because that's what it's about. And what I've learned too is we can't connect to those emotions until we connect our own heart. And it's really been hard for me to connect to the heart when I don't even know what the future is, because I have been so goal-oriented, so inspired-oriented, so direction-oriented my whole life, to literally come to a crossroads, or I should even say just a dead end, honestly. It was like flat out a dead end, door slam, curtains shut, things crumbled, the tower came down in every area. And what I will tell you is, and that's where I'm telling you, I'm learning and teaching, and sure you're going through this, that as this happens, if we didn't already have the tools, tips, the resources, the know-how, and the understanding, and please tell me I'm not alone in this, but going through these things, of everything happening at once, but if we didn't have that understanding already, like, I have been in areas that, I've held on, I've resisted, I've not understood, so I would prevent myself from moving forward. But if I didn't have all this understanding already, where I've been, where I'm at, like, I would be going through another dark night. And I'm not going to say it doesn't somewhat could feel like a dark night, but it really doesn't feel like the dark night anymore. It's like the sunrise, because it's like, it is like sort of coming out of the dark night, and we're walking in the wilderness and not knowing where we're headed, not knowing what the direction is. And so in that process, though, it felt interesting because I never felt this in my life before. I never knew, even in other dark nights, I knew what was next. Or if I didn't know what was next, it was only one area and I could still hold on to one piece or another piece or navigate something that I could semi-control in some area of my life. But with them all happening at the same time, it's like a full surrender. And even though you can see what's happening, it can be real easy to still be in human form, to kind of holding on and kind of wondering and kind of, resisting. And when I say resisting, the resisting has been for me in these areas. Things are presenting themselves from the new place, but I've looked at them from a place of like, oh, well, what if this is repeating the past and I'm not going back there anymore? And so a friend of mine, a reflection of mine, I even should say, has showed up and mirroring to me the idea and the concept of being in the rest. Now, I'm not going to say I hadn't heard this before and people haven't shown me this before and I didn't know this before, because I've always said there's power in the pause. And that's kind of what I want to say about this. What I'm about to tell you really is the power in the pause. And I've said it, but it's been different this time, because as we go through these layers, it's not just about knowing it, seeing it, understanding it, having awareness of it, even connecting to it, and even embodying it. But it is now being it. It is now integrating with it. It is now that you are it. It is now that it is in action and it is in reality. And so that's a whole nother embodiment of the physical aspect of this. With that being said, the point of this is that we are coming through this process of letting go of who we've been and who we're going to become in every area of life we can't fully see yet, because it is going to be literally the new version, the future version. And we have to create space for that. But what really was pointed out to me by this friend in reflection was that he said I'm in a Jubilee. And when he said I was in a Jubilee, my whole body lit up, because and then he explained to me what the Jubilee was. And it's biblical. That when we go through the process of, the crops, basically, and you've planted the crops and you've been fruitful. And that's the thing, is I've been fruitful. And even over I have to say this, the last 8 years I created a life I loved. After I got COVID, that whole life demolished, basically, and it started rebuilding, but the rebuild was a deeper dive to clear even deeper fears, or to create more space for the really new next level. But in this process of this Jubilee, like, we're going through this time that we've been fruitful. We've created what we've liked. We've created what we've loved. And then we're also being asked not to let go of that. And we're also now being shown that God is here, and we need to release and surrender that. And so in the Jubilee, or in the power in the pause, means it's not time to create the new yet. Because in that time, it's a rejuvenation, it's a renewal, it's a rest. It's a resting time to create the nutrients in the soil, to create the restoration that is needed to reload, to recharge, to reprogram from a place that holds the container to create a better crop, a new crop. And so farmers literally do this too. They'll plant so many seasons, and then they won't plant on a farm because it's depleted. Now they got to let the depletion restore before they go back and replant. Otherwise, what's being done eventually, they will no longer produce. And so that's what we're doing here. And this is what, when he told me this, my whole being went into a surrender and stopped fighting the idea of, why am I in this for so long? Why am I not in alignment with what's next? Why can I not move in a direction? Because I would talk about, well, I've got this idea and that idea, and I got this going on, I got that going on with all my business stuff, and healing myself to call in, the next version of me, which I'm seeing is happening as well. And in addition to that, and these are things that are just showing up now, because that's the thing, is you become what you are, who you want, and these things align with you. And I knew that, but nothing was aligning. because nothing was aligning. It felt even darker in some ways because it's like, well, why am I out of alignment? And technically, I wasn't out of alignment. I was in the rejuvenation stage. I was in the rest stage. And now I'm coming out of that. And if you can surrender and rest in the nothingness and find everything in the nothingness, and this is the golden key here, you can find everything in nothing. And if you can learn to rest and to surrender to this nothingness, that is where you will instantly then create the breakthrough to build the new version of you, to be able to see what that is. I'm going to give you some examples of this. And as I mentioned, it's in life, love, and livelihood for me. And again, if it is for you too, please let me know. You know, I've been behind the desk, right? And it's been very comfortable over the last 7 years that you've watched me and followed me. And I always knew I would take it outside of the desk and that I was supposed to. And that there was a bigger, bolder version of me being more authentic, to show up, to share in a way that showed to you more me, right? And if you're following me on this love and action journey, make sure to, let me know. And also, you can check out, if you've missed some of the earlier videos of my preparation to get here and the things I went through. I'm not just telling you or showing these to show you my life, honestly, because I've had to pry myself out from behind that desk. But I'm showing you this to teach in motion the life and the lessons that I'm going through. So in my reflection, you can do the same or see and be an inspiration. And that's where you put your pain into that purpose. So, in my life, I've just needed to come out and be bigger, bolder, brighter. I've needed to express myself more. I've needed to have a bigger voice. I've needed to be seen more. And not just seen more, but seen more authentically. And this is kind of what I'm talking about here. By me coming out from behind the desk is literally an opportunity to show up in that new version of me, because this is what I've always saw. Now, we're going to move on into the love aspect. So as you all know, like, I've been on this, what I call revolving door of reflections, where, I've had many different twin flame type experiences that have all showed up. That's been a reflection of me at every higher version of me, to the point where that's what I teach. I teach in a sense that, it's inside of you. And, what we're needing to break down some of those old patterns of what we thought this journey to be, because we're seeing it to be more than what we thought. We're seeing it to be bigger than what we thought. We're seeing it to be, more expanded than what we thought. And if you're still hung up on the idea of that one person and they're not changing and they're a lower, lesser version of yourself, you're not trusting the aspect to become more of yourself in your life, to truly know and believe that you can have what you want, because your life and your love is going to mirror you. And so, with that being said, you don't even have to plan it. The people, the experiences, the love, the connection will find its way to you. And that's what I'm teaching. And that's what my last book was all about. And I'm seeing this even already again. But it's so beautiful when you can truly see it that way. And you're not hanging on to it, you see. You're not hanging on to the story. You're not hanging on to the experience. And this is what I'm trying to tell you is, for us to get to the new, we've got to let go of the past. That past is keeping us stuck in the stories and experiences of something we're hanging on to. We got to get present. We got to neutralize. We got to fertilize. We got to revitalize. We got to rest. And then we will know how to move forward. And that's including with your love. So I have so many new things coming for you in that. We have Reese on board now. And Reese is with her twin flame, having been married for 12 years. And that is a piece of what showed up in my business life and how I take things forward, because in my dead end, I didn't know how to go forward with what I've been doing, because it no longer existed and I couldn't even go back to that realm of how to do that. And so Reese and I have created all kinds of new content that's coming. And by the time you actually see this, you might see a lot more. So make sure to check out the information and the show that Reese and I are doing about the content that we're going to creating to help you discover who you are in that life and yourself, and that the power is inside of you, and then teaching you to become the one so that you can then attract the one in your love life. Okay. These are principles that I've lived. These are principles that she actually also has lived. And those are principles that how she actually attracted her twin flame, has been married for 12 years. They've recently moved from UK to Australia. And now she's in her purpose, which will go to livelihood instead of being stuck for me. Now she has shown up out of nowhere. The arrangement, you'll have to follow some of our content together and the show that we've created that we're doing on a weekly basis. And you'll learn more about Reese, and you'll learn more about our alignment in there. So make sure to check that out. We'll make sure to have that information above or below for you so you can get connected and plugged into more Reese if you've not met her yet. She's amazing, and her twin flame. But the point of that I want to tell you is that I was hung up and stuck on even moving forward and bringing Reese on. Technically, I was holding back. Not long, just enough to really pause and reflect. And this is how we can know this is I could see by me not moving forward with somebody that showed up in my life to help support you guys, that if I didn't get on board with that partnership, that relationship, that bringing the ideas and co-creation together to deliver more content for you in a bigger, better, bolder, brighter way that helps supported you, then I was holding myself back from me moving forward into some of the other things that I'm also to help you with. And that, just because I have to tell you this, so just because, and I even told her this, like her showing up at the time, I had to chew on it before I invited her to come into this sacred space and container to help support you guys. Because in that, I had done that before and it wasn't the right timing for myself or the other people, or maybe even you. But everything I did was a foundation. All the training I'd done, all the agreements I'd done, all the structure I'd done, all the systems I had done, I used. So it was perfect by those people. And we can look at this as the twin flame journey. I had people that come in to help me build these structures that when Reese got here, Reese being the one that's going to like take off and run with this and help you as well, phenomenally, having graduated my Lightworker program and being certified in the coaching program that I've offered and that I've taught thousands of people for many years now, to people to reboot their soul and release their past, raise their vibration, reclaim their power so they can ultimately reunite with their other half and their twin. And so, I could see if I didn't take action with her, it was actually blocking me. But she couldn't come and I couldn't align with that until I got through the Jubilee, is what I'm trying to say. So I had to, fully surrender the past. I couldn't hold on to the past from blocking me from making same choices or things I started before, but it was just not the right person. It needed to be somebody right. It had to be the right timing. It had to be in alignment. It had to be the bigger, bolder version of me, with me getting ready for that version and her getting ready for that version and us intersecting at the perfect time. This is how this works, even on the twin flame journey and with the person. And so, every area now of even my livelihood, I'm doing the healing work that I'm doing, donation-based distance healing weekly on Wednesdays. So I'm going to make sure to check that out, the link above or below if you've not got plugged into that. Because I was like, and if you followed that, you're going to see how that I got inspired to do that. I put that together in 2 days, only because I knew I wanted to help you guys more. I wanted to do more healing, but I wanted to heal in a bigger way and serve. How could I serve even better? And how could I move forward and do the things that I'm also great at and passionate about? And how can I put something into the healing aspect? How can I put something into helping you guys? How can I put something into the new, bigger versions of myself? And so I'm playing full out at the highest version of me. That's a lot, right? And that was part of my block. How am I going to do all this? I've been trying to do all this. And when you put too much diverted energy into something, you don't get somewhere like quickly, and you don't connect your dots quickly. But what I want to tell you is every piece of what I'm doing in that, I've already created the foundation, the bases, to where now it's just like each thing is presenting itself. And instead of going like now, like, oh, like I can't do that because of the past, it's now I took the rest time. I surrendered like my reflection told me to do. And the minute he said that, I just melted, and I knew I got to let go. And most importantly, as the new version of me, at the bottom of it, it was I need help. I need support. I need my assistant to help me do these things, to put these things together. I need a coach. I hired a coach. And that coach told me, and you might have already heard this by now, I don't know. But she told me whenever I came in thinking I was going to amplify and promote and get everything together to help me really package my Lightworker Academy without even telling her. See, and that's where she's the perfect coach, aligned perfectly for me First of all, I cried. I think you might have already actually heard me say this in another video by now, but I cried that morning after because I felt like I was home. I felt like I found my home. I'm home, and because I'm home, I made the right decision, and I already got my money's worth. I have the right person for me to help me do what I need to do. Then by our first meeting, I didn't even, on my list of everything I wanted to do, I'd already put out the window helping write books right now for sharing your story because I already had too many things going. And then she says to me, starts asking me questions about my books and the content I've created in that. And then when I told her a few things about that, she was like, this is what I'm helping you with. She didn't ask me. She told me. And it was also divinely guided to her. And that's the other thing is, if you're not ready to make those shifts, changes, moves, and have the right people to support you, you're not ready to receive what divine wants you to know. And you have to also be ready for that. And you also have to take action in that. And if you're sitting still and you're not moving and you're stuck, then you are holding up the progress of creating or reinventing that new version of you as we went through this ascension in your life, love, and livelihood. So let me know how that's inspired you, how this has helped you, and I just can't wait to continue to share more with you. Also, if you want to follow me more on a regular basis, make sure to check us out over on Instagram at Twin Flame Expert and also on Facebook. And as always, you can get connected with me and learn more about my programs and myself at twinflameexpert.com. Namaste.